Self-care Sunday, self-care edition, $10 million edition. How are you? And you, but especially you. Yes, you. How are you doing tonight? Tell me about it. How are you on this Sunday, the 8th of March? The 8th of March. Let's see if I can get all my screens going here. Boom, boom, boom. I think I've got it. Let's see here. Boom, make that big. I am so excited to be here with you tonight live. It is great to be here. Let's see if my camera were a little straighter. Maybe that would look a little better. Hey, Carrie, how are you? How are things in Florida? Great to have you here live tonight. Love all my live people, or live, or not expecting me to be on time people. How about that? And there I am on time like that for a change. Well, hey Lou, how are you? How are things in Iowa? We finally got a little bit of warm weather here after a wild week. Wild week. Snow, ice, lots of ice. In the Northeast. It was a wild week this week. But it is great to be here with you all tonight. And I wanted to be more on time tonight than I'm. One of my things, I really am trying to be more on time. My lack of on timeness is always because I'm trying to do that one more thing. Let me get this one more thing done. But I was good tonight. I was going to call my sister before I came on, and I looked at the clock and I said, I'll wait and I'll call her after. I'll check in with her after. Hey, Sherry, great to have you here tonight. So, because I knew tonight's show, the topic was interesting. I knew the topic. I had heard from you so many of you already that were like, yeah, 8:02. Can you believe it? And that's even Canadian time. Look at me springing ahead today. It is but it is actually, what I list as my worst trait is my untimeness. And it really comes from a good place. It really, or at least I think it comes from a good place where I am trying to get that one more thing done. That one extra thing is where it always comes from. And I'm trying to do that one extra thing, and then I'm like, so I go from being on time to being late, or being almost on time to being late. And so my heart is in the right place, even though my actions would reflect otherwise. Because I know it's disrespectful when you're late. But actually, this whole show, going back 6 years, okay, that I've been doing this, was built on more eight than ish. Just because when it first started, there were so many things going on back in the COVID days when this started, that I was getting late breaking information, or I was talking to somebody, and it just went long. So, and I was more eight than ish. Is the way of the story. I mean, so there you go. But me being on time, that's or right on time, tends to be the exception, not the rule. Let's get started tonight with our storytelling tonight, because I got a great story tonight. I mean, is $10 million not a story worth talking about? I mean, you talk about, you see a story like that and you're like, $10 million, huh? Where'd that go? Where's that? Uh, let's find our opening quote tonight. Oh, I like our opening quote tonight. Our opening quote tonight is, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It is about learning to dance in the rain. Am I going to give you $10 million? I mean, yeah, Jessica, yes, in $2 bills. I got 10 million in $2 bills. Do you want it, Jessica? Uh no, this story has got everything to it. I mean, that's why I love like this story. You guys see fraud, and I see. Let me see if I can do this right. Share. Uh, boom. I think I did it right. Boom. Um, you guys see the headline that I posted, and you see fraud. You see. Let me see if I can get the other screen there. Boom. You hear that. Yeah, I knew you'd say no to 10 million in $2 bills. I figured I was safe in that. But you hear that 10 million. You see this employee of this company, okay, steals $10 million, and you're like, what the heck? How did they not catch her? How did that? And then I tell you this has something to do with resale, and you're like, that sounds like hullabaloney. That sounds like, what are you talking about, Neil? What are you talking about? And so that's why I put it out there, because it is such a story, um, with what's happening, that you need to know. You need to know, because it's crazy, and I've actually wanted to talk about it for a long time, but I haven't been able to. And with that, oops, dropping money here. Um, you know, but now I can. Now that she's been arrested, I can talk about it, and talk about Laura Tucker, and what the heck happened here. So, as they say in it, oops, hang on, let me just get this moved over here. Boom. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Laura Tucker and what's going on here. Of course, hang on one second, just getting the other screen going here, if it wants to go. Um, let's go here. Okay, I think I've got all my screens working right. Okay, so on this screen, I always throw, when I'm getting a PowerPoint going, and before I actually start talking, I'm like, everybody loves a good dog picture. And these puppies are sadly no longer with us, although it is the anniversary of when we got Max. Max is the dog on the far right, the brown and tan one there. With the blue scarf is Fifi, and on the bottom left is Nellie. Sorry. And we had those three dogs for a long time, and they were wonderful. Max was our surprise dog. Having three at once is a lot of work. Having three at once is a lot of work. And just so that she's not left out, there is our current dog, Luna, who has more energy than every dog, all the dogs we've ever owned combined. And there she is with, yes, of course she has a pink ball. Of course she has a pink ball. So, and she is always ready to play and run. And she got out today, and boy, did she run, and I chased, and it was a day. uh, so we're going to talk about tonight the $10 million fraud that ran through consignment stores. $10 million fraud that ran through consignment stores. And lessons every resale owner should know. That is what we are talking about tonight. That is the topic. And Laura Tucker is our focus. I should have pulled up a picture of her. I'll throw up a picture later. I mean, none of the stuff has had a picture. I have a picture of her. Um, but how you're like $10 million is a lot of money. Even if it were Canadian, it'd still be a lot of money, right, Jessica? Even 10 million Canadian still a lot of money. But this is very very real. So let's get into the meat of it. So Laura was the office manager and bookkeeper of Southeastern Pond Management. She had access to the company credit card, but not just Laura Tucker's company credit card, because she got the company credit cards for the employees of the company. Okay, she had access to all the credit card numbers, okay, for everybody, because she would keep track of that, of who had what card numbers. So every card Laura had access to. And that was part of her scheme. And that's part of how she evaded detection for so long. She also paid the bills. Okay? She paid the bills. Laura learned that she could order luxury handbags, both new and used. She would buy new handbags, the latest ones, all the high end names from Louis on up. Okay, she would order them all. Okay, and she would charge them to various people at the company's company credit card. Okay, and she would do that and have them shipped to the company where she had direct access to it. So they would come, she would get the package, she would get the purse or the luxury item from Louis or Chanel or any of the others. She would then sell them that bag. She might keep it for a while, and then she would sell it, okay, and consign it with a variety of consignment stores. She was working with she working with sounds wrong. She abused several consignment stores that sold luxury handbags and luxury items, and she would sell these items through them. I mean, to the tune of big bucks, okay, every year. Okay, her consignments would net her consignments. So that's how she turned the stolen credit card money into spendable cash. She would sell the handbags through consignment stores and turn that money into spendable cash. Okay. I'm talking like, okay, yes, in retrospect, even stores that do a lot of luxury, okay, a lot of luxury, should have felt sooner that something was wrong, because this consigner was consigning and earning by herself, her own earnings, okay, over six figures a year, okay, over $100,000 a year in individual stores, okay, and she was also buying from these stores. So part of it was, it's like that bad Shopify order that says high risk, but we've had such a slow day, and they sent me a copy of their ID, so it has to be okay, and we really need this sale, and it's too good to be true. But she was earning her share, the checks she would get was over 100 grand a year. Okay, is what it accumulated to. Okay. And she was also, with many of these stores, spending over 100 grand a year. Okay. She had massive drops of consignment on a regular basis. Okay. So it was like a nonstop flow. Okay. It was like she worked in the back room of Louis Vuitton. Okay. And she had a constant flow of authentic luxury items that she was able to feed these stores. And it was constant from the same source, or and this is how they got her to plead guilty so quickly. Okay, or in her daughter's name. Okay, so it was either in her own or in her daughter's name, both the consignments and the purchases. But when she purchased things, it would be under a variety of different credit card numbers that she had access to from the company, from different employees of the company. And when things started smelling wrong at the company, or somebody got the whiff of it, she threw that employee under the bus. What are you doing ordering Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Chanel on the company credit card for? And it would show delivered to the company. So it would be like that person got a box because they did. And so the wrong person, okay, because a thorough investigation wasn't done, and because Laura had control of everything, the wrong person would be looked at. And this happened. She did this for a number of years. A number of years. So you didn't get to 10 million overnight. But this is how it happened. And then she'd have high value payouts. So obviously, and always request them quickly. To ensure that it gets to me, send it to me overnight. And she'd pay the overnight fees. Actually, just before she was charged, in the days just before she was officially charged, she paid an overnight fee with one store to have her check sent to her. She paid almost $300 to have her check sent to her with a specific time of delivery. I need to receive it at 11 a.m. or 12 or 1 p.m. or whatever it was. I need to get it at this address at this time. And it cost like $300 to overnight the check so that could happen. And, and that was just a couple days before she was formally charged. Where's my key here? So I actually worked with the stores that were part of this case. I actually worked with the stores in providing their information to the FBI on their behalf. So the stores were doing the right thing. Okay, they kept great records. Okay, and most of these stores had great stuff, including, because they were luxury items, they had pictures, and they had pictures of what she was selling and what she was buying. They had her contact info. They had when she changed her address. So we had every item, the dates it was received, the date it was logged, the detailed descriptions of the items, the payout records, whether it was her or her daughter, who got paid, when, how much. That was able to work with the FBI in making this case come together. Okay, the FBI was seeking out. They knew enough of what she was doing. They didn't have all the proof of the checks. They didn't have all the proof of the merchandise. They didn't have all the transactions. They didn't know everything. And I'm not 100% sure what they knew when. I knew when they had the grand jury. I knew when they had, but the FBI asks questions, they don't answer them. So in working with the FBI, they were really great. When asking for what they wanted, the court was the grand jury, what they needed for the grand jury, what they needed for everything. And one of the other tells in this, okay, is she was working with stores out of state, which isn't necessarily unusual with luxury consignment because there's some really good stores across the country. that deal in luxury consignment. So that part isn't necessarily unusual. But, how much of it, really was a red flag. Um, so, you know, without accusing anybody, knowing the story, large volume of luxury items from a single source. The story doesn't match the size of their inventory. Um, Brand new consignor shows up with a huge supply. Now, she didn't initially show up with a huge supply. That came as she felt she had built her trust with the stores. He was always in a hurry to cash out, always looking, which her stuff sold well because it was good stuff. But her drops never slowed down. Her drops never slowed down, except for, there was a couple times where my guess is she thought somebody was onto her, where it slowed down a little bit. But, over the years, in the charge, which is they used the period of 2000 to 2004, 2020 to 2024, is the period that they really looked at for the investigation. It was a fairly consistent flow to these stores. And that, but knowing and being aware and knowing how people are contacting you, she did like to text. She would call, she would text stores, really does matter. So fraud happens when one person controls everything, okay? And it's a trusted person, okay? It can even be a relative, okay? When things aren't right, okay, and this happens in a store, we're not making as much money as we used to. We don't have the profit. All our expenses are up. This woman controlled bookkeeping, credit cards, shipments to the office, and all the records of their finances. And, that's a warning bell happened. And resale didn't cause the fraud. Resale was operating legitimately and purposefully for their business. Okay, these stores are taking a big hit now because they lost a major supplier. So if you lost, a supplier that was bringing you, that the consignor made $100,000 a year, plus the consignor bought $100,000 from you. I mean, you're losing a couple $100,000 a year in sales with this person drying up. Throughout this with the FBI, we had to keep this very, very quiet. There was usually only the store owner knew that there was an investigation, and me. Because I was providing all the data to the FBI. Complying with it at the store owner's request. Okay, because it's not my data. It's not my data. I have access to many stores' data, but that data is not mine. And it was with their permission that I was providing things to the FBI on their behalf. But it can be with anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be luxury. Okay. We had a store that was paying people. He was paying druggies, essentially druggies, people that were looking for their next fix, to steal from Home Depot and Lowe's. And they would go steal a drill or steal an item from Home Depot and Lowe's, and that store would sell it online. And he would give them, $20 for this $200 item that they just stole from Home Depot or Lowe's, and then he'd sell it online. It doesn't have to be high dollar. It can be stuff from Marshalls. If you're getting too much new with tags. So like, for example, in kids stores, especially in the younger sizes, the baby sizes, the infant sizes, you can get a lot of stuff new with tags from an individual consigner. But as the sizes go up and the kids grow, the amount of things new with tags goes down by as the age goes up because they wore it some. And so when you have somebody bringing you all new with tags or all Marshall or, you know, it does start to ring some bells of where are they getting it? Are they stealing? Do they work for Marshalls or TJ Maxx and they're stealing it out the back door? You know, there's all sorts of things and thefts that happen. I remember once we got a lady in, um, and it was a new receiver, it was a new intake person and a young girl, and she was the old lady brought in all these sport team jackets. I mean, really nice jackets, sport teams, all new with tags, a ton of them. And the employee was like, "Oh my God, she was the sweetest old lady and everything." And she got them as a second chance in a second chance drawing with the lottery. That's how she won all these. And she has no use for them, but that's why she was consigning them. I mean, it looked like total theft. Like she was going into a sporting goods store and just stealing all this stuff. And we investigated that and found out that she was telling the truth. It wasn't hard to get the records from the lottery. It wasn't hard to check with our local police department if there had been a big theft in that. But when things are out of the normal, it's important to look in, move beyond it, even when it feels like, oh my God, this is such a blessing on my business. It's not a blessing if it's fraud. Um, so, those are some of the things that happen and can do to, let me just get my, oops, I lost my screen here. There's my screen. Um, you know, so the other part of this was a really long investigation. I mean, I'm talking about close to 2 years that the FBI was going after this lady because she was just arrested in 2026. I mean, just this past week. Um, and, um, I want to say it was sometime in 2024. I have to look it up that we were first contacted and provided, she just continued to hang herself during that time. So it was a long drawn out. It does not get solved like a Law and Order episode. It takes a long time for these cases to work their way through. Even, I mean, there was a time last year, late summer, early fall, where the FBI agent in charge of the investigation was calling me, emailing me, I need this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, it must be wrapping up. I'm like, this is going to be it. It's finally, it's going to be over. And then it wasn't. And then I was just like, can this just be over? And because he had asked for so much and needed it so fast, I really thought that was going to be the time, and I had to drop everything to get him what he needed. And happy to help law enforcement out when we can. But I really thought, okay, they're going to go put the cuffs on her right now. And it did not happen. It did not happen. It was a long time after that that they put the cuffs on her because it just happened. So these are long. It's a long process. The law moves at a slower pace, but it is pretty freaking amazing what someone can do like that. And that's happened to many companies. So I mean, the $10 million is the extreme, but I know many companies with thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in fraud, hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraud. It's all relative. Okay. It's all relative. And it's always somebody you trusted. Like there are posts celebrating her 20th anniversary with the company. Laura's 20th anniversary with the company she was dealing with, and how they relied on her and loved her and everything else. And she loved her gravy train. She loved her gravy train, and it's really sad how all of this plays out. There are, you know, with stores right now, I think I still have 2 investigations still open. I think this was the third with the FBI or local and state law enforcement. There's one really, I this lady deserves to go to the pokey. That's going on. I can't talk about yet, but is gonna like be a "Are you freaking kidding me?" When it comes to light, when we're able to shine a spotlight on that one. But it's around us, so just be aware. That's what I'm telling you. That's the point of the story. Is you would never think reading the headline that there is a resale angle to this, but that's how she was turning it into cash. That's how she was getting cash. And obviously, you know, if she's getting over 100 grand per consignment store, it's a lot of cash. Excuse me, to get to 10 million. Any questions that I haven't, you know, I mean, I've thrown a lot at you tonight with this, but it's such an important thing. And you know, don't be a, you know, law enforcement's our friend. Law enforcement's our friend. If you haven't done anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about. And the stores in this case did nothing wrong. Did nothing wrong. Their spidey sense should have gone off or been ringing a little earlier before law enforcement came knocking. But they did absolutely nothing wrong. You know, and it was so important to law enforcement that they kept on doing business as normal until law enforcement arrested her. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yes, law enforcement is our friend, Jennifer. Absolutely. It is wild what people will do. Wild. It is wild, and how they justify it. Oh, the other thing is she pled guilty so quickly. It is my understanding because they were going to charge her daughter too. So she just agreed to plead guilty to all this very quickly because they were going to charge her daughter, and they had her daughter doing thing. You know, some of the things were in her daughter's name. Some of the shipments and everything else, and the stuff that was consigned was in her daughter's name as well. And since she has not been charged, I will not share the daughter's name, although it ends in the same last name. That is public record, and you could find her daughter without too much work. But her daughter was not charged, and you know, I hope she gets some real jail time. A lot of these cases end out with a slap on the wrist. Hey, there'll be a replay. Don't worry, there'll be a replay, Priscilla. Don't worry about it. Watch the replay. It is worth the replay. It is a good story. It's a sad story to an extent, and now I have stores that won't hit their net. That's a lot of sales to make up. That's a lot of sales to make up. You know, 6 figures in sales, 6 figures in consignments, and 6 figures in sales from one customer is a lot to make up. But that's how you engineer a $10 million theft. And, you know, I really feel bad for some of the other people whose credit card she used at the company that she threw under the bus before they figured out that it was really her. So, just an amazing story. You know, fact is stranger than fiction, but it's an amazing story. You know what else is amazing? This video and everything I talk about goes over to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running the store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and oh yes, ring the bell, ring it so you know when another one drops. You can also share it with everybody you know in business, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, so we can help everybody run a better business. I am here every Sunday and Wednesday at more 8 than ish, Sunday and Wednesday at more 8 than ish. But if you have a question in between, just DM me. Find me on Facebook. I'm easy. I'm easy to find. Just DM me. And I'm happy to hop on and answer a question. There were several that I know about, Jennifer. I don't know if there were others, but of my clients, there were a few that because I pooled all the information for them and provided it to the FBI. But there were likely others that I don't know about because, again, the FBI is really great at asking questions, really bad at answering them. They do not answer questions. They do not answer questions. Even though they knew, like, I have this network and I have this platform of stores that I have access to, they were not forthcoming. And I certainly was checking on some of my other clients that I have access to their data. I was running it through just to check because it's a real thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. We start the program every night with an opening quote. Our opening quote tonight was, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." Our closing quote tonight is, "Very often you are in the right place at the right time, but you don't know it." Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like being here every Sunday and Wednesday at more 8 than ish. But until then, until Wednesday at more 8 than ish, know that you, but most importantly you, yes, you're not alone running this store. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you, you, on Wednesday.